Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, along with Teepa. And Teepa, I know you're the champion of all of this. You're always looking for innovative ideas. And I happened to be watching TV the other day and saw a wonderful little piece on a kindergarten that was attached to a seniors facility. We've seen other things in New York where music students were living with seniors in a cohabitating facility. And so what other ideas are you seeing that give you some hope that somewhere some people are actually starting to get this?
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing really interesting, Greg, is little pods of, I've got an idea, and like animal assisted therapy or music therapy or art therapy or partnered work with teens or partnering with an animal shelter or partnering with a performance area, a performance arts area, or a museum. And what I see is like these little areas all over the place, but it's like, well, let's bring them all together and let's make it a whole life experience rather than but what we tend to do is people find their one thing and it's like, oh, look. And it's like, raise it up and lift it up and it shines for many people. But that's not going to be for everybody. That's like when we say music and poetry and prayer, it's like, well, for some people, that's perfect. For other people, I got to get out and walk. I just want to get out and walk. I need to go walk paths by myself. I know it's risky. I still want to do it. And it's like, you know what? Let's do it. Can we have a system that allows us to monitor that you are somewhere and we know where you are. And if you fall, we'll figure out where you fell and come get you. But that you have that opportunity to live your life. And it's like, that's a tough one. That's where people really, they're good with that idea. If we can keep it contained and we can give you a few things, that's exciting. But when we start putting together real people with real preferences and that not everybody wants to stay in one location or one housing space, that gets a little tricky for folks to be comfortable with.
So as far as we've come, we still have a long ways to go because we haven't found the solution yet. And it's probably not going to be there's no one silver bullet, is there?
No, and that's as frustrating as, there's no one medication you can take to make that. There's no one intervention that's going to work for everybody. Because it turns out we were different before we ever got dementia. So why would we suddenly be really all alike now? And so what works for one human being is not going to be the same thing that's a good combo for someone else. But if we could get the puzzle pieces so that we look at our puzzle pieces and put together each person's unique puzzle and figure out what kind of supports need to be in place for that group or set of individuals, and where do they need support and where are they good to go? And keeping in mind it's going to change over time. But Greg, can you think of any place right now that you would want to live if you develop dementia that is like a structured setting that your brain goes, ooh, this is a place I want because it's perfect for me?
No. And I didn't have to think too hard for that because no.
Would you prefer mostly to stay where you are as long as you can?
I think most of us would, but I know some people who are just sort of saying, oh, I can't wait till I get to the home. So, there's two sides to that coin, apparently.
There is. And I think there we go. Not all of us are the same. And some of us, we've been risk takers our whole lives. And if in our dementia that continues, then my opportunity to have risk without putting others in harm's way, can we not still honor that? And for people who are safety seekers, is there a way we can provide that safety net so they can feel more comfortable because they want a smaller space, they want more surround, they want more support? Because I think that idea of my ability to self-assess may start to really change with a dementia. And yet what I essentially am giving you as feedback is evidence as to whether or not you're satisfying my inner need for whoever I am, and doing it so I don't feel constrained or abandoned, so that I'm satisfied and you don't feel trapped or overwhelmed. Because if that's happening, then it's not fair to the supporter either. And I think this idea of, I've got to sacrifice myself in the care of someone else, it's like, we got to change that attitude as much as we've got to change anything else. And, if you don't like music and I love music, why should you be the one to try to deliver music to me? It just sounds like hell on earth for you. And it's probably going to not necessarily be a good matchup for me if you're not enjoying yourself, Frank.
I'm going to hit the rewind button on our tape here and go back to a couple of words that you said. And that was, if that continues, you mean I'm not going to be the same through this journey? I might change, really?
Oh, isn't that miserable? You think you know who you are and you think you know who you're going to be. But that was pretty much how it all started, too. We thought we knew I was going to be a veterinarian, or I was going to be the doctor, I was going to be this. And you know what? Different roads came up. I took different turns, and I am, who knows what I originally thought, but I am where I am. And that idea of that doesn't ever stop until you breathe your last breath. I mean, it really doesn't. I don't know what's ahead, but I know that, boy, if I look back over my life, I am not the same as I was when I started. And what a journey.
If I just assume that Teepa loves classical music and shove the speaker in her room and play classical music, or if I assume that because she used to play bingo all the time, that I'm going to wheel her down to the bingo room. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you get feedback there? That wasn't a bad sound feedback. That was me. Teeth and
So you change?
You could still, I could still love classical, but not the classical I loved before. But one of the common changes is where I used to might have been really fond of complicated things like Bach, or, some of those more complex things with odd sounds, or, one of those kind of things. And now I really like Brahms. And you're like, Brahms? She hates a Chopin. And it's like, well, now I am the me I am now. Can you let go of who I was to celebrate me as I am now? I have.
And that applies to somebody who was a take charge person, or somebody who had no desire to be involved, all of a sudden wanting to be involved.
Yeah. I mean, we have people who will say, my mom was always social. And it's like, maybe it was part of her job to be social. Maybe it was part of who she thought she needed to be. And finally, she doesn't have to be that person, and she can't be that person. So maybe we should pay attention to what she's showing and telling us now, not put a label on and keep it on forever. Because, I mean, we all have expiration dates on stuff. I mean, I used to do a number of things I choose not to do anymore. Some I would take back up possibly, but some is like, no, I did as much of that as I want to. I'm not into that anymore. I would like other things.
So the only thing constant is change.
Oh, there you go, Greg. And that's probably one of the most uncomfortable things we can say about human beings. They don't like change all the time.
Whether it's ourselves or others.
Or somebody else. You got it. For
Teepa,
sure.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. For more information, check out teepasnow.com.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.